Welcome to day 19 of our school year. All right, let's have that second line filled in. Okay, let's go ahead and write down our beginning fraction. Our denominator is 180 because that's the total amount of school days. And we are currently on day 19. So let's find the factors of our numerator. It's 19. So let's see, two factors we always know are 1 and the number itself. Using the commutative property of multiplication, I could do 19 times 1. Now I'm going to use my divisibility rules. I'm going to go in an orderly fashion, so after 1 I try 2. So I go in order of the numbers to see what works. The rule for 2 is that it ends in an even number. 9 is odd, so 2 is not a factor. And if 2 is not a factor, that eliminates all even numbers. There will be no even number as a factor if 2 does not work. So we try the rule for 3. The rule for 3 is that we add the digits together. 1 plus 9 equals 10. 10 is not a multiple of 3, so 3 is not a factor. We try 5. The rule for 5 is that it ends in a 0 or 5. It does not end in a 0 or 5, so 5 is not a factor. We try 7. The multiples of 7 are 7, 14, 21. 19 is not in that list, so 7 is not a factor. We try 9. 9 has the same rule as 3. You add the digits together, I get 10. 10 is not a multiple of 9, so 9 is not a factor. We try 11. 11, 22. 19 is not in that list, so 11 is not a factor. The multiples of 13 are 13, 26. 19 is not in that list. 13 is not a factor. We try 15. 15, 30. 19 is not in that list, so 15 is not a factor. We try 17. 17, 34. 19 is not in that list, so 17 is not a factor. Then we get to 19, and we are done. And if we looked at the prime number sieve, we would have seen that 19 is circled as a prime number. So that means, because it has exactly 2 factors, it is prime. So as we're going along and we're noticing that factors aren't working, we can always check that prime number sieve. So now we need to see if 19 works. If 19 doesn't work, then 1 is our greatest common factor. So let's try 19. Remember, it doesn't matter what your groups look like, just as long as you have 19 in each group and you don't have the shaded with the unshaded. So, let's see, 1 plus 10 is 11, plus 8 is 19. 2 plus 10 is 12, plus 7 is 19. 3 plus 10 is 13, plus 6 is 19. 4 plus 10 plus 5 is 19. 5 plus 10 plus 4 is 19. 6 plus 10 plus 3. So I'm using the idea of decomposition to help me out here. 7 plus 10 plus 2. 8 plus 10 plus 1. I have a remainder of 9. I would need 10 more days in our school year for 19 to work. Since I have a remainder of 9, that means that 19 is not a factor of 180, and that means our greatest common factor is 1. So let's go ahead and make our groups of 1. Done. How many total groups of 1 do we have? We have 180. How many groups of 1 are shaded in? 19. Okay, so now we need to use our algorithm to prove. We divide by our greatest common factor of 1. 180 divided by 1. 19 divided by 1. 1 times 100 is 100. Numbers the same, zeros a game, more on top, no need to stop. 1 times 80 is 80. Numbers the same, zeros the game, so our remainder is 0. Add our partial quotients. 100 plus 80 is 180. Here. 10 times 1 is 10. More on top, no need to stop. 9 times 1 is 9. Numbers the same, zeros the game. If you already knew that 180 times 1 worked and 19 times 1 worked, that's fine. I just want to show you that there are many ways to get to the right answer. 10 plus 9 is 19. We still need to check, which is our divisor times our quotient plus our remainder. So 1 times 180 plus 0, 1 times 19 plus 0. Now we don't actually need to add the remainder of 0 because the identity property of addition says it's going to stay the same. But what we end up with here, and why the groups of 1 work for division, is that we have the identity property of multiplication, which says when you multiply by 1, it stays the same. Okay, so 180 matches my dividend up here. 19 matches my dividend up here. So they check. And now I write down what I proved. So 19 out of 180 is the simplest form. Let's go ahead and fill in our data collection page. Okay, trimester 1, week 5. Today is 9/4/19. And our fraction for today is 19/180th, because 19 is a prime number. It is not a factor of 180, so our greatest common factor was 1. When we make groups of 1, you don't have to get out your number line, but I like to show you that it's already there, right there. 19 out of 180. There's nothing lined up below it, because that is the simplest form, or the equivalent fraction in lowest terms. So go ahead and erase your worksheet, and thank you for joining me.